If you're enjoying Gems with Shom, follow the show. We're just getting started. Welcome to Gems with Shom, a show about beat digging, records, production, and other things. Today, I'm joined by Haas G, aka Fantom of the Beat. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Heat for the street, heat for the street. What it do, my G? How you?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad that you're on, brother.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I first heard of you from your work from the golden era hip hop crew, UMCs, with Lil Kim. You had hit songs, early 90s, Blue Cheese off the Fruits of Nature album, and many others. You've since gone on to do a ton of hits, ton of production, working with Lil Kim, 50 Cent, Ghostface, a lot of my favorites, Busta Rhymes, too many to name. And I knew we'd have a great discussion today.
Oh, definitely. We about to lay it down.
All right.
We about to lay it all down.
Let's do this, brother. You are famously from Staten Island. What was around you musically growing up?
So, the Staten Island side, growing up musically, we already had a group called Force MDs out there, right? So, that was one of the pieces that was really, really relevant. Then that time, the era, you got your Rock Kims, your KRS-Ones, De La Souls, you know what I mean? So we was listening to all of that. So between those two and the fact that we had just, so many records in the house from the 70s, 60s, and, when my mom was cleaning it up on a Saturday or Sunday, she's playing all of that, so all of that, those were the influences. And that's where we get a lot of our samples and whatnot from.
Tell me about some of the early memories of what was playing in your house.
Oh, man. So, and this isn't just hip hop. I'm gonna show you something. So there was Isaac Hayes, there was Gwen McCrae, there was James Brown, you know what I mean? And then there was also, I don't know, like I said, Eric B. and Rakim, it was the KRS-Ones, it was Soul Sonic Force, you know what I'm saying? So these were all influential. And yeah, I can't take that. I can't take that nowhere but keep it right here. Those are all influential. It was banging then.
How did you guys get started as a group?
We were both from Brooklyn, moved out to Staten Island. I'm from Brooklyn, from Flatbush. Moved out to Staten Island, going to school in Staten Island. I guess the excitement of hip hop and all of that started spreading around on Staten Island. So now everybody wants to be an MC on Staten Island. You know what I mean? Everybody who wants to, I'm good. And then I'm going to join in too. You know what I mean? So that's how me and Kim, we had some mutual friends and all that. They knew we was both rappers. They tried to get us together. They didn't really per se want us to battle. They kind of thought that we would make a good team. And that's how our group UMCs began, And right in the middle of that and UMCs, there was another group that me and Kim were in that me and Kim decided we're going to leave this group and go do our own thing. See what I'm saying? And we became the duo because I think we was, like the standout parts of that whole situation. So we figured, let's go do it. Let's go make a group and let's come out and hit the world, bang them in the head.
Are we talking high school, middle school?
All day, high school.
All right.
High school. I moved to Staten Island in 85. I graduated high school. Yeah, high school. We was there, me and Kim. That was the right time, perfect timing, because we was about to get out of high school. So You know, doing the whole UMC project felt right in place, right on time, right on line.
When did you start making beats yourself?
From the beginning. Oh, wow. Even before the crew or the peoples or anybody knew of UMCs, I was already making those beats like at least 5 years prior. At least 5 years prior. So that was my learning phase. That was you know what I mean? It took that phase to get up 5 years later to get up with Cool Kim and make a group called UMCs, and then, you know, start applying some of the beats, start applying what we knew how to do, and just get busy. So yeah, I was in it already.
That was a really early stage of hip hop production. What kind of equipment were you using at the time?
Back then when, you know, we was rocking equipment, it was the what was it? The TR-808 drum machine, a rolling drum machine, maybe, oh, not maybe, this is definite, the Akai S950 sampler. We Staten Island, so we really didn't gravitate to the 1200, the SP 1200. We gravitated to the Ensoniq 16 plus. You know what I mean? That was our weapon of choice for production. You know, so that's where we come from. And if you think about it, and you know, if you're really, really deep into, you know, figuring out the information, just go look it up all around. It's in all kind of different interviews by different various people. And Ensoniq 16 plus is our weapon of choice for Staten Island. All the producers that come from there was rocking it.
In terms of my memory, you might be the first group that I knew out of Staten Island. I was pretty young myself. What other rappers were around you? What other producers were around you?
So basically, when we came up from Staten Island, you know, rap was just taking off for real. But we was already on Staten Island doing our own thing, you know, just like every other borough, you know, the breakdancing, the graffiti, the boombox. Back then, that's what it was. We bring the boombox out, you know what I mean? Cassette tapes, who got the freshest tape and all that. So coming up in Staten Island, we was already coming up. We already had situations where, you know, everybody loves the W. Everybody loves the Wu-Tang. You understand what I'm saying? But before Wu-Tang was Wu-Tang, everybody was in the trenches all together. You see what I'm saying? So anything Wu-Tang, I'm definitely connected. You know what I mean? And that includes Shaheem. That includes GP Wu. You know what I mean? My man Pop the Brown Hornet. You know what I'm saying? King Just. You know, Pellegrino JoJo. You know what I mean? We had a lot of stuff going on out there. So everybody was just trying to figure out how to grow and who's going to be first and how is it going to, you know what I mean, take his formation and get to it. So yeah, we did come out first as the first, I guess, rappers, renowned. You know what I mean? You check Martin, you see our poster on the wall. But right before us was Force MCs, but better known now as Force MDs. So, you know, I always say this way. I say, yo, they came through and yeah, they were rapping in the beginning, but they're renowned for their tender love. They're renowned for their R&B. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So Force MDs is our R&B. UMCs is the first rap. You understand what I'm saying? Like, come on.
You guys set the foundation for a lot.
Yeah.
How did you get on in that state of hip hop in the music industry?
Oh man, that one right there. I feel like listening. I feel like when I heard my grandmother talk about her mother, it was slavery time already. You understand what I'm saying? That's what her mother was dealing with. So for me to answer this question, it's basically the same way. Right now, everything is all accessible. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? If you're smart, you got a good, keen sense of, you know what I mean, direction in the internet world, you could get busy. We, on the other hand, we had to make our demos in the studio. Then we had to get to the record labels. There was no way to get to record labels via internet. You know what I mean? That the way we do it now. So, you know, we had to travel. We had to go from Staten Island, take our demo tape, run to the city, and be where everything is popping at. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of physical work. It was a lot of, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of recon, surveillance, getting with people, trying to figure out what's going on and who's doing what. You know, and so it was a little mission. But it made us who we are. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, everything that we went through during those times and trying to get to the record labels and trying to find the spots to be at, those things was trying situations. You know what I'm saying? So that gave us things to talk about. That gave us mad things to talk about. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't so simple, but we just put our back. You know what I mean? We just strapped up the boots. We did what we had to do, and we kept it pushing and moving.
Respect. When did you guys know that, hey, you have something here and you're going to start taking it seriously?
So we came out in 91, right?
Yeah.
So to take it seriously, we were probably 89. That's about when we figured we was going to be the group. And then we started working on our demos, started trying to perfect our craft together. You know what I mean? Like, let's make sure we blend these styles the right way and get the right music we need, and let's go get a situation. Hip hop is dope. We love it. I want to be part of it. I want to be it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking back. You're a teenager. You're obviously really good. You have this vibe with your friend. You're putting together music. What told you that you were good enough? You obviously went on to be a pro with a great career. Was it rapping in the lunchroom? What was the signal that gave you that confidence?
So the rapping in the lunchroom part is basically, that's us all sparring. You know what I mean? That's, you know, welcome to the games and we're going to all spar. So somebody's going to spit, somebody else is going to dart, somebody else is going to dart. That was keeping us sharp, you know? So growing up around that in school, that's how that was going on. But I think when we just started making demos, that sounded like nothing. And you know what I mean? Like, nobody has producers out there. Whoever the producers are out there is the producers. Those are the only ones who's making the beats, right? So we already had our setup. We was making our own beats already. So that's what allowed us to, you know, dig deep into it. When we really figured out we had something, it was when, you know, a lot of people don't know, Gang Starr's the ones who ushered us in the door. So shout out Guru, shout out Premier, you know. They ushered us in the door, and we got that call back like the next day. And that's when it was like, you know, we knew it before, but it was solidified at that time. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's how it was. But we already knew. That's why we put the demos together.
All right. So you had this inner confidence. You knew you were dope. I mean, there's probably a lot that leads to that. Tell me about the connection with Gang Starr.
So here's one point. Like, UMCs, even before we became UMCs, you know what I mean, the rappers, we was already in the game. You know, we was dancing. We was dancing for videos that was coming out before us. You understand what I'm saying? So now if you're dancing in videos and you know all these artists, you're getting around, You're meeting up with this artist, you're meeting up with that artist. Because back then, you know, remember, they wanted mad dances in their videos. The movies had mad dances in it, you know. That was that time, that was the era. So as dancers, you get to meet the artists, boom, you connect with them, you're dancing in their videos, y'all hooking up, you're talking, you're getting familiar with each other. You understand what I'm saying? So that was one of the ways. And that made it kind of easy for us because we was already around you're around it all. You know what I mean? So after that, all it takes is for you to say, open your mouth. You know what I mean? Say something, you know?
Yeah. Dope. So you got on, you had your demos, you had this stamp of approval through Gangstar. You had success really early and straight away. It was a hit song right off the bat. Tell me about the release of the album and what happened after that.
So basically, we was slated to come out for 91. I said it in my lyrics and my vocals for the year of 1991. Right? So we was already on point with that. That's genius already. You know what I mean? And we recorded it in 90. You understand what I'm saying? So we already figured it's gonna drop in 91. I mean, doing that and once Gangstar plugged us in and we got the situation, you know, our label was really, really one of the most notorious for like being one of the best indie labels with like the most banging artists, you know what I'm saying? At that time. So we figured out how to, you know, run with it. The label was ready even more so because they too, if you put it in terms of, you gotta look at them as their production company. You know what I mean? And the goal is to get the biggest funding or, you know, the recognition, the biggest funding. So they caught wind of EMI around the time we was becoming UMCs. See how that worked? So
Yes.
it's just levels, there's levels to it. So now they not only put money up for the development and mastering and mixing of these groups, they put it up so this way they could go to the next level. So we fell in at the good time, at a real good time, the right time, perfect time. And we started traveling. We started doing a tour, promo tour before. We did the promo tour right when we were about to drop the record.
Okay.
So you drop the record, everybody on the bus, take the promo tour from New York all the way down to Florida. From Florida, shoot over to the Midwest. From the Midwest, go straight to the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So that was our run. So we weren't even around while we was just on the road. We can't even keep up. But on the road, we're doing mad interviews, right? Why every place you go, that's the program. You get up, do interviews, do a show, go do a show at the college, go do a show, interviews, everywhere you go. We got back to New York in about 2 months. The record started blowing up in California. Then we got back and the record was blowing up in New York. So that was all about just the effort that we put in, the work that we put in. You know?
That's super interesting. It's almost like you guys were on the road before anything was released. You go get your repetitions of meeting people, performing before anyone really knows your music. And by the time you get back, you start blowing up.
That's one to grow on right there. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Watch how we about to repeat that same cycle.
I love that. Where were you when you first heard your music on the radio?
Oof. I can't remember this one. I'll never remember it. All I know is we were, see, I don't want to lie, because there's too many instances where it always appears to be the first.
Yeah.
Like the first time in Cali or the first time in Brooklyn, but I know this much. We weren't together when we both heard it.
Okay.
So that gem right there, I can't remember exactly, but I'll give you a different one. We were not together when we heard it because we got on the phone with each other when we heard it.
You guys are teenagers. We got to remember that. You're kids, basically.
All day.
Tell me about that feeling.
I mean, from the rip, we was already, poised to win. We wanted to win. The combat, is on. We're going to battle. Let's go get them. So we was already on that. And you know how, what is it? The WWE, the kids all in the audience getting charged because they see that thing happening. You know what I mean? We was already ready. We was like, yo, we about to get it. We getting it. You know what I'm saying? So there was no doubt in our minds about getting it. Not at all. Not, yo, I hope I can make it. I don't hope we getting it. So that was our process. We didn't see any failure anywhere.
I love that. You're New Yorkers and you have that fire. I mean, when you're a kid, I think it can help you to be really that confident,
to
right?
be a better kid.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. I think that's awesome. I like the way you share that. That's super dope.
It's just basically, and some of us, as we get older, we lose that fire.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? But it's still there. You got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's bringing me up to what we get ready to do next. You understand what I'm saying? We got some things, like really got some things that, okay, this is about to cut through everything right now. It's about to this is what it's going to be now.
I think your mentality is the only way to be. Otherwise, you have no chance anyways, right? So you might as well get in that mindset, and it's the only way to kind of go through all the phases.
You just got to be positive, and you got to, focus. It's all focus, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So let's go through the UMC's era. You're now, at this point, famous rappers, very successful artists, really original in a way that, like, there was a lot going on in hip hop, and you guys are one of the most popular groups, hit groups, young dudes on the block. And I only know, I guess, after the fact that you produced yourself, which I find fascinating, right? I didn't know that at the time. Tell me about that experience, that wave of riding high.
So real quick, back to you guys produce yourselves. Who else do you know as of the last 10 years that produced themselves and were dope artists? Go ahead. That's a question for you.
Happens a lot less these days.
Fully,
I mean, I would say Kanye West, that's more than 10 years.
There you go. That's it. You don't even got to go no more.
And even most of his solo production was like more than 10 years ago. Not that he couldn't do it. He doesn't.
So there was a point where Kanye, he shouted this out in one of his interviews. So, producing that was always part of the gambit. You know what I mean? I was a DJ. I was a breakdancer. I was a graffiti artist. I was from Brooklyn. My mom had mad albums and records. We was listening to all the soul, the jazz, and all of that in the crib. You know what I'm saying? And then when you just realize that, there's a new thing called hip hop going on. I want to do that too. You know what I'm saying? So just started getting busy, just knowing records, getting familiar with records, getting familiar with albums, getting familiar with the old artists, being familiar with that stuff until they came out with the machines for us to be able to sample. And, first you heard James Brown and realized that Biz Markie used it. You know what I mean? And Morley chopped it up. And that's the record we're listening to right now. Like, wait a minute. They used that to make that? Oh, I want to do that too. You understand what I'm saying? I want to do that too. Like, Mom, you got a whole basket of 45s. I need the machine though. Can you get that thing for me, please? Please, please?
That's amazing. Oh yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, because I always like hearing from people from that era, because there was no 10 years before. There's no hip hop previous 10 years that you were born from. You guys were
but that
inventing this
was
shit.
disco. That was disco time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta, Donna Summers. You know what I mean? Linda Ronstadt. You know, like, that was that time right before the hip hop started coming through. You know what I mean? Diana Ross. You know what I'm saying? That was that era right there. Then hip hop, you know, started developing in there. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, we got it.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Tell me about did you go on tour with UMCs after that?
Yeah, all day. That was just our promotional tour.
Right.
That was the record label saying, look, we're going to blow you guys up. But the way to do it is we got to hit the pavement. We'll collect data, you know what I mean, from everywhere we go. Every state we stop in, we're going to stop at the radio station. See what I'm saying? They're going to play your records, interview you, and then on to the next one. Hotel, next city, next state, radio station, club, do a show for the night, and do it again and again and again. So that grind was different, you know what I mean? I like that grind though, because it reminded me of the Chitlin circuit grind. You know what I mean? The Southern artists and whatnot, when they was going all down south and just dropping into the, you know, the hood spot and getting busy, and then going to the next hood spot and getting busy. So that's sort of like what that tour reminded me of, and just how we just got it all started.
Who did you go on tour with?
Oh, so that one's a good one, and that's a whole story by itself. So
We got time.
So basically, we were signed to Wild Pitch EMI. EMI was the mother company, and at that time, Wild Pitch had artists that had Chill Rob G, they had Lord Finesse, they had Main Source, they had UMCs, you know, and then EMI had Jay-Z and Jazzo. So EMI and Wild Pitch are family now. So the tour is going to be Main Source, UMCs, Jazz, and yep. So, you know, that was the tour. So we did that tour together, and after that, any other tour that came through was just, you know, every music convention that was going on at the time, we all there. I don't care who it is. OP, you know, Naughty by Nature, Fushnikers, UMCs, Brand New Weeds, whoever. But we was all doing shows consistently all over the place together. So yeah, touring was dope. But like, going back to that first tour, there's a lot of stories everybody heard in either Jay-Z raps or Nas's raps, or, you know what I mean? That's the tour they talking about. That's the tour we was doing. So we was there. We was listening, paying attention, watching, seeing, being involved in all of it. You understand what I'm saying? Understanding what was going on in real time right then and there. But to hear them put it all in records right now, that's just crazy.
I mean, it's a really important time in music, and I'm glad you're at the center of it.
Yeah, it was good. Good times.
When you guys came out, you're really original. You had your own sound, really popular group, and there was a lot of other movements around you, a lot of other movements from New York. Native
Yeah.
Tongues, other groups. You mentioned Jazzo, you mentioned Main Source, other, let's say, what people now call golden era. What was your perspective on those other groups?
Those other groups are the groups that made us. Like, everything that was happening is what inspired us to do what we did. So they were all dope. Anybody coming out, everything was different. Like, nobody sounded the same. You'll get one artist that come out and we on top of his records for the whole week, and then the next week a new one is coming out real quick, but the sounds are different. So we was just championing any of the records that was coming through. You know, we respected it all. Like, when it first started, not many of the records was whack. Like, not many. Everything that was coming out was like, oh, because it's all fresh and new. You know what I'm saying? There was no particular lane. Nobody was following nobody. Everybody sounded different. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it when it all started, and the era that I grew up in, and watching it and listening to it. And, you know, you talk Native Tongue, you talk De La Soul, you talk Jungle Brothers, you talk Moni, you talk Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah, we used to choreograph her and her dances. You understand what I'm saying? So I idolized them, everybody that came before us. I love it all.
What's ill about what you said is you loved it, you're inspired by it, but your shit didn't sound the same. It sounded like your own thing.
That's exactly what we was witnessing. They were all doing their own thing. So we said, okay, I'm studying. We're going to find this lane. This is where we're going to go. You know what I mean? It might have remnants or hints. The same way, you know, whatever is going on today, even from movies. Movies is recreating other movies. You understand what I'm saying? From way back when. I don't know. But yeah, it was about let's develop our own little style and ride that lane. Get busy in that lane.
I can't say how much I respect that. I mean, I think enjoying other art is great. Being original is the greatest. That's the illest shit.
There you go.
That's the illest shit. You've had many great phases of your career. UMC's successful group. You went on to go do a ton of production work on your own. Tell me about that transition, that move to your next phase.
So basically, you know, after UMC's and the whole Wild Pitch EMI deal plummeted and, you know, it just imploded, it was over, done. So now what are we going to do? I mean, personally, I went to school, you know, to become an electrician. Got that done. You know what I mean? So I was an electrician already. You know what I'm saying? Worked for the city and all that already. Before we even came out, I was right. You know what I mean? It was the years were close, but I was doing everything. So by the time, you know, the label deal was over, I just went back to being an electrician, but still making beats. You know what I mean? I don't have to, I'm not touring, I'm not doing none of that. I got to work for money right now. When I come home, I got my setup. I'm still going to make music. I'm still going to make beats, save them. You know what I mean? Put them to the side, just keep making beats. You know, let me keep working, get a little bread in my pockets, and, you know, take care of my family. I had kids already. You understand what I'm saying? We have to make everything work. And then it was just one point where you already know it's coming. Like, I ain't even gonna kid you. Yeah, I'm tired of working. I do not want to do this like this no more. So you already got it festering and building up. Next thing you know what? Today I'm gonna take that cassette tape, put like 5 beats on it, and I'm gonna walk with it in the city. And then, you know, I gotta go to work, but I'm gonna walk with it. Next thing you know, you're working in the building that Ghostface is coming out of, getting into the limo, and you're right there because you grew up with Ghostface. And then, yo, Ghost, what up? Here, boom, here, take this cassette. Let me know. You see what I'm saying? that was that path. That's how it went down.
That is amazing. All right.
That's how it
Okay.
went down.
We're going to talk about this legendary record. You connected a lot of dots really quick. So I'm going to ask you in more detail. You're from Staten Island. Many Wu-Tang members from Staten Island.
Yes. Yeah. Stapleton.
So-
we Stapleton.
So you knew him from before, and he knew the UMC's work for sure, right? So you see him, he's blowing up. Ghostface, pretty famous. Your work was a bit of a new wave for him, a new wave of success. Tell me about the recording of Apollo Kids.
So just for everybody to really, really get the understanding, you know, imagine you growing up, you know, you're in the house with your parents, right? And your parents are grown adults. They know the people in the neighborhood. They're friends with their next door neighbor who has kids. Who's that? Oh, that's Dennis Coles. Who's this kid? This kid from this family is Carlos Evans. You understand what I'm saying? So that's exactly how close it was. All right. Sooner or later, he's going to become Ghostface. Sooner or later, he's going to become Haas G. You understand what I'm saying? Phantom of the Beat. So that's how close it was. Friends since kids. We weren't sure yet until we got older that we all knew what we was all going to do. And then while you're perfecting your craft, everybody's perfecting their craft at the same time. So we all growing together. Hence, where UMCs came out right before Wu-Tang on Staten Island. You see what I'm saying? Because we was just, at the time, we was ready to get something out there already. And, you know, they were still perfecting. So if you think about it and you go to the UMC's album, you're going to hear UMC say Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang even came out.
Sick. Yo, this story is incredible. I love this. And I'll just say, this is one of my all-time personal favorite songs.
Man, so Apollo Kids Supreme Clientele album, you know, big ups to the Wu for being inducted in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? They get that. So I'll probably mention, you know, I was working as an electrician in the building. I was in what building was it at the time? It was a Sony building. And Ghost is coming out while and we just bumped right into each other because remember he wasn't home for a little while. So that's when he came home. And that's how I caught the first single. Gave him the cassette tape. It was a TDK Gold. Boof. Dope. You know what I mean? And I probably got called like about 2 weeks later or something like that. And it's like, yo, let's go. Let's come to the studio. Let me write this check. And we need to mix this record. What record? This one. How nobody told me that you was nobody told me. You understand what I'm saying? They're just doing it. Then they catch up with the bill later. And then not just that, now you got Raekwon featuring on the song. So I caught 2 Wu members on one joint, like boof. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that was really the process. Like I said, after they undid it, they called me in to come in and oversee the mixing, make sure I liked the way it's sounding. If I had any adjustments to do, I could do that. And next thing you know, it was the video ready to be shot.
That's amazing. Whatever you did, it was magic because that shit bangs like crazy. You have 2 of the greatest rappers of all time, my personal favorite duo of all time, just going crazy. And like you said, Ghost was away for a bit. So it seemed like a few years that he wasn't out there as much. So they came back.
He came back with that.
Yeah. Harder than ever. Harder than ever. It's the best.
He came back with that.
How did it feel to have that stamp of approval where it almost brought you to the front again?
Yeah, I live with this. All right. So for all the people that don't know, or you know, you just see everything in real time in front of your face as it's happening. You don't see what all happens behind the scenes and what really, really counts and this, that, and the third. So I didn't live with it. I didn't take it on as, oh, this is bringing me back to life. I'm part of the foundation. I took it on like, okay, we got this record. What are we going to do with it? You know what I mean? How's it going to make sense to get to where we're going? Because that wasn't it yet. You understand what I'm saying? That was just a door opener. Like, we need this piece. It's a piece of the puzzle. See what I'm saying? So I needed that piece of the puzzle, but we're not content yet. We're not ready. You know, we're not happy yet. We're not finished. So now you start getting the other records until you get to the point where you know who you are already, and you want to help the future that's coming up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but at the end of the day, that's the goal. You know what I mean? Pass on the real knowledge. So in order to do that, you got to make sure that your real knowledge is present. See what I'm saying? And that's how we're moving right now with it. I hope that I answered the question, because I know sometimes I get a little deep into it, and but I really hope that answered the question. This is all a legacy thing. You know what I'm saying? Preserve the culture.
It absolutely answers it. I mean, you don't have to answer you answer it in the way that means right to you. The way I take it is, you're an artist. You're part of the foundation, especially in Staten Island, which led to some of the greatest groups of all time. And like any artist, you're going to have different phases that people see in the public, but you're making music the whole time. It doesn't matter what's going on in terms of the radio. You're doing your thing. So I just I like to talk about that, because over years you see people's careers go like this, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be that way. But your mentality is what I'm trying to get a hold of. And you answered that perfectly.
Got it. All right. Yeah,
we
sharp. We stay with it. We love it. We love it too much. You got to stay with it.
Yeah, I could tell. All right. I'm going to go into everyone's favorite segment of the show. You've had a long and incredible career, and there's many parts that maybe I didn't touch on, but I find the best way to get to know someone, a musician, is to talk about music. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it works for me.
All right. I'll name a song.
That works for me.
Perfect. I'll name a song, person, place, or thing. You tell me your reaction. It can be a story, personal anecdote, anything. And some are songs by you, some are songs by other people. Cool?
I'm good. I'm with it.
All right.
So I'm about to express what it all means to me.
Yes.
Let's go.
Magic Stick. Lil Kim featuring 50 Cent.
Okay. So that record means to me, I could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the top male MC at the time. I got the top female MC at the time on one record that I created, that somebody told me to dump when I made it. That I'll never, that feeling right there is it. You understand what I'm saying? They told me to dump the beat, trash it, because it sucks. Next thing you know, I said, nah, I'm gonna save it. And this is a true story. I was about to dump it. And I said, wait a minute. Don't let the peer pressure go. You don't dump nothing. Hold on to it. And I shopped it. And it became a banging record, you understand what I'm saying? With the top two MCs at the time, female and male. All right, so I hit bullseyes.
Hell yeah. What you did that was super smart is you left a lot of space in that beat. It all banged. The drums were hard, great production, but you didn't fill it up too much because it had a fantastic chorus and great rappers. It's really great production.
I appreciate you. Yeah, a couple of plucks and some bass, and a yelling and scream, and some dope drums.
Worked just right. Worked just right.
Perfect. And the artists, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're setting them up. You're setting them up to knock it out of the park. Next person, Sha Money XL.
Sha is you know, when you're going through school and you run into that teacher that likes you, you know what I mean? They not necessarily they just like you. They mess with you because they see something in you. That's Sha. You know what I mean? So that's how that happened. You know, we got connected because of my cousin who was 50's DJ at the time, you know, doing the mixtape run. And so my cousin asked me to give the beat, gave him the beat, he gave it to Sha. Then we started getting, you know, together, clicking, talking. Still didn't know that was going to become Magic Stick yet. But, you know, Sha's the one that he was involved, making everything happen. So I was just learning. I pick everybody's brain. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a situation and it's brand new to me. You know what I mean? I give praise and I'm grateful for the blessing. No matter what the outcome is or the end up results are, I give thanks for the blessing of actually even being there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's dudes that you can't even get to that part. If you're there, there's a reason for it. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, Sha, and he's a businessman. You know what I mean? He'll get you if you don't know business, but he's a businessman.
Well said. Next person.
Just like anybody, they will get you if you don't know business. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel like you have a few stories to tell on that end. I think anyone who's been in the music industry for a while, especially from that time, has.
Yeah, it's already public knowledge. I had a lawsuit for you know what I mean? This is all over the place. Like, that ain't nothing. We good though now. Everybody good.
Okay. Busta Rhymes, Take It Off.
Yeah. That was a dope one because I forgot that was running, what was it? Spring Bling, MTV, you know what I mean? And I don't know, what was that, 97, 98 or something like that? Anyway, that was a big record for the album. Not a big single. It was a hot single in the street. People were playing it. It wasn't the single off the album. But for me, the gratefulness and the gratitude comes in where I did Take It Off on an album that Busta has Janet Jackson on. So I'm like, bullseye. You see what I'm saying?
Amazing.
All of those thoughts and feelings is what I have right now that keeps me going.
Hell yeah. I mean, you have a lot that you've accomplished. I can see it, how you kind of go back to your wins to keep going. That's kind of how it is as an artist. Yeah.
That's the fuel. That's the energy.
Let's talk about more Wu-Tang affiliates. Inspectah Deck.
Yeah. Inspectah Deck on the set. Me and Deck, we go back, way back too. So, you know, there's going to be places where you're going to read who all went to school together, who went to junior high school together, who worked together, me and Deck, we went to the same junior high school. Deck is from the hood where he's in Park Hill and I'm from Stapleton. We're all, you understand what I'm saying? So we know each other every day. So, you know, nobody know Wu-Tang is going to become Wu-Tang and UMC is going to become UMCs and Inspectah Deck is going to be himself and I'm going to be Haas G and later on down the road, while everybody's moving and everybody's working and they already know I make heat, you understand what I'm saying? We gonna come together down the road still, you know what I'm saying? Deck, me and Deck used to work summer youth together. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Summer youth, like jobs, summertime jobs. Then, I had the what was it, SL100s Technique turntable straight arms. I had a set, sold it to Deck. You understand what I'm saying? Back then we was just young. Sold it to Deck. Next thing you know, it was my parting. Next thing you know, it was we all wanted to be rappers. We all wanted to be rappers. So some came up with that crew, some came up with this crew, some came up with this crew. We know that crew, we cool, but we're gonna do our own thing over here. You know what I mean? That's how you had your different groups forming. That's how you had your UMCs forming, your Wu-Tang, your GP Wu, your Shaheems, you know what I mean? Um, your dark skin assassins, your killer armies, you see what I'm saying? All these groups were forming, all of them. And UMCs just happened to lead it and catch a quick situation first. But don't forget, RZA was Prince Rakeem before he was even RZA. See what I'm saying? So everything was, the cycle's complete. You know what I mean? It had to be that way.
You guys certainly played a role in all of that, your work over generations. Tell me about how your production equipment setup changed. You mentioned the Ensoniq. You mentioned it was commonly used in Staten Island. Tell me about what you used over time.
So, like I said earlier, the equipment that we started out was the Ensoniq. So, RNS, who's like kind of the godfather of the producers from Staten Island, he introduced me to that, and from there I just went on going, doing what I had to do. From there, RZA went and got one too. We all EPS 16 plus, so we all was rocking that on Staten Island. That was a good time. I just had to go through a whole bunch of discs recently that I did on that machine. You know what I'm saying? Because what's old is new. You know what I mean? It's all recycling and just making sure that we preserve the sound. So we could go back to that, tighten it up, and it would be perfect for today. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that just recently. And then, between then and now, I dealt with the MPC all day, 2000 XL, MPC 2000. Those are the only two machines that I use. Oh, the 4000. What's the other one? MPC Studio. And then, at one point I just got tired of physically, manually dialing in, typing in numbers and blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, cool. Let me go mess with Logic. Because, you know what I mean? Pro Tools is Pro Tools. This one is that one. That one is that one. That one is that one. I like the name Logic. It makes sense to me. It says Logic. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to mess with.
Fair enough.
Everything been, from that point. I still got the machines. I still got, the MPs. I still got the Ensoniqs, but I just go right into Logic, the DSW, and just get busy. For me, you just got to know how to manipulate everything. You know what I mean? It don't have to sound computerish if you know what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? It can have the same kind of quality of sound, fat, thick, chunky, if you know what you're doing. So, yeah, Logic is my choice right now. So I rock off of Logic and got some good heat coming off of that. Very, very good. Sound is crazy. Like I said, I come from the era when we used to sample records and albums, and you had a whole bunch of outboard equipment, and you got to EQ this and EQ that from there. And when you put that skill and the knowledge of the know-how for what's going on today, you put them both together, you cover you cover it all.
Yeah. How do you feel when people mention samples to the songs that you worked on?
I feel they smart. I feel they caught it. That's a good feeling. Like, what? Say it again. Wow. You know the sample. Ooh, give me that.
Yeah.
I love it. That was the whole purpose of doing the sample. Even though I chop samples up, you still want that familiarity. You know what I mean? You want people to catch wind of it. Like, if somebody comes and say, I know where you got that from, I'm like, where I got it from? That was blah. Oh, you good. That means I'm waking you up.
Oh, I asked that because I was truly curious. There are, let's say, rules or ethics around that time, maybe 90s to 2000s, where producers, artists don't like when you say a sample. So on this show, I generally don't say it. Sometimes it's so obvious, and almost all of my guests, DJs, producers, they bring it up. So I let people bring it up. Cool. I try not to call it out because I'm aware that people of your era, some of them don't like it. And also, I don't want to cost anyone money coming on my show.
I'm gonna tell you something, and that's the frightening part about this whole thing. You know, we too worried about what the money is, and I mean, it's all good. It's real. That's what we're here to do. We're supposed to prosper, make money, do whatever. But when it comes to a fly ass sample, B, I'm using it, and I'm going to take care of the people that I used it from. Period. I'm not worried about nothing. I don't even care if I make money off of it. It's about the record and how hot it is. And you want all the publishers. Take all your publishing. Who cares? We're going to make it happen over here anyway. But I'm going to show you what we do with this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not worried about none of that.
I'm going to name artists. You tell me what you think. Gwen McCrae, Rockin' Chair.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. I was just listening to that. No, literally listening to it. So, first of all, when they did when the East is in the house, when the East is in the house, oh my God.
Blase, yeah.
Blase. That beat right there is crazy. But before I even heard that record, when the East is in the house, my mom was playing that while she was mopping the kitchen. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she was playing the 45 while she's cleaning the kitchen. So I knew that record way before. I was just surprised that, oh my God, he made a beat out of that?
Yeah.
See, that was one of those times too. Like I told you, that's how I was listening and catching everything. Yo, he made a beat out of this 45 that mommy be playing every freaking Sunday. That's rocking shit.
Yeah, incredible record, incredible reuse. I mean, really good, really creative.
Very.
The Delegation, Oh Honey.
Oh, that's blue cheese. All day.
I'll let you say it.
That sample is, so you got, I don't know, you can look it up, everybody listening and checking in. What is it? What was his name? EST, the At Nicholas one. They were from Philly, and they used that beat first, but the part they used had nothing to do with what we used. And we just took that little piece at the beginning. It was just, it was vibrant. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was our piece for UMC's for Blue Cheese. And you could, you listen to the original, you slow it down, compare it, you'll catch on to it. You'll hear it in there. But that was meaningful to me because, all right, that's my first record. That's the first record that got me really, really into the game. You know what I mean? That's my first #1 Billboard record. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can never forget that. I could go Alzheimer's, I could do whatever. I don't know. That'll always come up.
Great work. Also, very unusual way to sample it. So I think it's super creative what you did. And obviously it worked.
Thank you.
Yeah. Blue Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. You already know. You calling it out. So Blue Mitchell was like one of the illest jazz. Oh man, he's the bomb. But he comes from a long line of music as well. You know what I mean? So you got Blue Mitchell, you got Willie Mitchell. You know what I mean? You got there's some blood running course thick, you know, when it comes to that music. So Blue was I believe it was Good Human Man. Off of one of his albums that we sampled for One to Grow On. And that sample is like just we get praised today for that sample. Like that's one of the illest jazz samples that anybody ever used. So yeah, Blue Mitchell he's a hero for me because that's another record that came following up behind Blue Cheese that blew up, that allowed us to be able to continue in the game and do what we need to do and get busy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's Blue Mitchell for everybody. That's Blue Mitchell.
I personally liked One to Grow On even more than Blue Cheese. I liked Blue Cheese. I was like, oh, this one is even better. So
Yeah.
I thought it was great work. And, you know, I think as time goes on, it's grouped with some really special music and looked back at as the golden era. And that's pretty great. How does it feel to be celebrated over years?
Until it's weird because, you know, you got different levels of this. You know what I mean? Not everybody's getting recognized at the same level as everybody else. Even though we all a part of it, you understand what I'm saying? There's still a way that you have to make your presence known so that everybody could really, really respect. You understand what I'm saying? Or you know, chime in and be with you and kick it and chop it up. Me personally, I know what my music did, right? So I'm cool with that. I'm always on the prowl. I'm always on the hunt to do the next new thing. You see what I'm saying? I got to do the next new thing, no matter what. But I'm very, very appreciative for those who do know who I am and for those who know my pedigree and know my style. And I'm grateful for all of them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the best feelings ever. I wish I could just see them all congregated in one space, though. You know what I mean? Like, you know, one of these kids is doing their own thing when the others is doing this and this was doing that. And yeah, I want to see all of them. I need to see all of them now. Who is down with the movement that we about to rock?
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think there are more fans. They're just more spread out and they're not in one room, just like you said. I can tell you, I do a show about beat digging. There are a lot of fans, way more fans than people realize of this very specific topic, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to your early work with UMCs, it's really important because people who are making music now and they get the opportunity to study that phase. And there's a lot to learn from.
If they smart. If they smart, trust me, you got a lot of the ones that's doing the work now that think that whatever they do on the track is going to be golden and Gucci and, you know, this is what I'm doing. And it's all, if you studying, you know what I mean? You got a better chance of applying what you know and making it work for yourself. But there's a lot that don't really pay attention to the history. We paid attention to the history. We paid attention to all the samples. We listened to the albums. We was listening with our parents. You understand what I'm saying?
Just like you're studying, the next generation is studying you.
There you go. So there you go. That's it.
No, that concept of studying is really interesting. I have a friend. He's a pretty successful producer now, right? Loves your music. We grew up together. And sometimes I call him, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm studying. And he'd be going through different eras of hip hop. He'd be like, oh, remember Lords of the Underground? Remember this? And he'd just be going through B-sides.
That's working. That's working.
Yeah.
That's all work.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is your profession. You got to be good at it.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all. Be good at your profession. You know what I mean? You know, I don't think the average person would consider that work. What are you doing? No, I'm listening to albums from 1980 all the way to 1985. And then I got to listen from 85 to 90. What the hell is that? What are you talking about? Oh, that's what you're going to be doing for the day? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah. I mean, I love when I hear people talk about that because a lot of music is about timing and style. And when you know the cycles, you know where you fit. That has to do with sampling, has to do with
Oh,
everything.
man, you gave it away. Why you give it away like that? You gave that away too. That was, come on. You gave that one too quick away. Nah, you're right. And that's why we here now.
Yeah.
The cycle.
That's why I love this shit. That's why I love this shit. I'm going to name some other groups, right? And now I have no idea of your affiliation, but I feel like you have a lot of stories to tell. So I'll bring them up. Leaders of the New School.
I'm really trying to remember if they came after us or before us. I think they came slightly before us.
I trust you more than my memory.
I think they came slightly before us. And you got Busta, Dinko. You got Busta. Oh, Dinko and Charlie Brown. And then they were down with they was down with Tribe Called Quest. Then they was all down with Latifah and Shakim. And we was managed by Latifah and Shakim, Flavor Unit. So now here comes all the connections. It's that simple. So of course, wherever they doing shows, we there. We know what's going on. We in the mix, you know. It's all native tongue, but we refused to be native tongue. You know what I mean? We weren't native tongue, but we did have the native tongue. You know what I'm saying? So we was good like that, but we didn't want to be part of that group. And so yeah, leaders they're a champion group. Like I love leaders. We love leaders a lot. Like all represent the same styles, the same colors, the same energy. You know what I mean? The same power to represent New York. You know what I mean? At the same time, but different groups. So yeah, leaders they're one of my favorites.
So you said you're affiliated with the native tongues, but you're not in the native tongues. Cool. What about the Flavor Unit?
Same thing. It was all business.
Okay.
You know, it was all business. That's it. We're not no Flavor Unit. We're UMCs. But you're going to manage our business. We don't want to be affiliated with that. We don't want to put that name on us. You know what I mean? That's all. We're affiliated with the name. We're down with the team, but that name can't circumvent, you know, just fall on top of us, and now we just automatically your freaking personal punching bags, or we're under you now. We ain't doing that. But y'all can manage us. So that's how we was affiliated.
Fair enough. Do business, get along. You don't have to be in the same crew to do that.
That's right.
Right. Black Sheep.
Same thing. Native tongue. Drez. You know what I mean? We're from the same school, same era. The Choice Is Yours, though, was a record that was like unmatched at the time. Like, whoa. That record was crazy. You could get with this, you could get with that, you could get what? Come on, son. That record was stupid. They're the same pioneers as we all were. You know, Leaders, Tribe, Black Sheep, De Lies. When you start hearing the names that I'm talking about, you see how UMCs fit right up in there too. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. But everybody still had their own style.
Yeah. I'll name another group, a little bit different, related, but different. Poor Righteous Teachers.
Oh, that's a whole different effect because, you know, God Body and the Nation of Islam and the 5%ers and, you know what I mean? Not everybody got that kind of knowledge, you know? So when they came out, I already knew what they was talking about because I have knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? And I was happy to hear a group that came out speaking truth, truth, truth. You know what I mean? As far as we're concerned, you know what I mean? And dropping jewels and dropping lessons and not talking just negative or, you know what I mean? The negative aspect of life and there's nothing else left. Nah, they was hitting us for upliftment. So those are my dudes too. You know what I mean? And then over the years, we all come up and we still talk to each other. We all know each other. We hang out. We kick it. You know what I mean? We represent each other. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was another great time.
I think that whole era, including UMC's, Poor Righteous Uses, many of the groups at the time, the way they were trying to be positive, discussing all those groups that you mentioned, it was interesting because I'm a kid. I'm listening to this. These are my heroes. They're on TV.
Right.
I didn't understand every word. It's hard to. I mean, I grew up in Toronto, Canada, but it made me think. It made me think that being smart is a good idea. Right? That's it. I mean, I'm a child. I'm like, oh,
that's what we was. That's really what we was on then.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it. That was the whole thing then.
Yeah.
Then you saw what happened after that.
I would say it's different now, but I think I'd like to say one day something like that will come back because like we discussed, things go in cycles and there's kind of a need for that. Not everyone's happy politically. I'm sure there's a way that they can come back.
It's called evolution. It's called evolution, brother. When it comes back, it's going to be bigger than when it started the last time. It's going to be crazy. Everybody wants the new Biggie. Everybody want, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants that new. Where's it at? Where's it at?
I like
it always does this. You know what I mean? You got to study history. It always does this. It recalibrates.
You're a big beat digger. You sampled a lot in your life. What do you think about the DITC crew?
Family. That's family too. Me and Diamond just DJ, you know what I mean, together, and we hang out together. And Lord Finesse was our label mate on Wild Pitch. You understand what I'm saying? DITC, you know, that's the whole. They was doing beats as a team from a long time ago. You know what I mean? I had to catch up to them. Like, oh, y'all produce, I produce. You understand what I'm saying? So, nah, that's camaraderie. That's camaraderie all day long. That's what we grew up off of.
Amazing music, amazing artists. And I'm glad that you mentioned, you know, them DJing. It's like they have a whole new life to people who maybe weren't around back then because of their beat digging, their DJing. And I love it. I'm a huge fan of theirs.
I'm getting ready to DJ now. I got some DJ slots coming up.
All right, dude.
You know what I mean?
Let me know. Let me know.
I got some good DJ slots coming up. So, you know, and that's where a lot of producers come from. They used to be DJs.
Yeah.
I started out as a DJ.
Yeah. You're a multi-dimensional guy. I mean, DJing, graffiti, dancing. I feel like we should have talked more about that. Yeah. Rapping crazy. Is what made you famous. I'd say most famous for that.
I mean, yeah, the dancing was, that's how we basically got familiar with a lot of the artists. We were dancers. So whenever there's video shoots, wherever there, you know what I mean, shows, whatever, we were dancers. Back then, remember, they had dancers all in the videos. They had dancers all in the shows, all in the movies. You see hip-hop dancers, you know what I mean? Like, so we were those guys who had the Applejack hats on and the Paisley shirt and the Jabot jeans and the Doc Martens. You know what I'm saying? That was us. We was those guys. So that helped catapult us because we got to meet everybody. You know, we was always in their face
Yeah, you
till we
guys were
had our demo and said, please listen to our demo.
you guys were the stars of that shit. Great dancing, great rapping, handsome young guys. I was like, oh, that's the coolest shit. You had a
Yeah.
great style at an early
Yeah.
stage. I love that.
Good. Nah, that's beautiful. Like, and, you know, we was part of what was going on at the same time too, because you know, like if you paid attention to us back then at that time, you saw that was that cross color culture. You know what I mean? Or the colorful, or the, you know, we was leading that. You know, that was our thing. You know what I'm saying? So, now, great time, very great time, an innovative time. You know, but at the end of the day, you still gotta evolve, and it's time for the next thing. You know what I mean? But show and prove where you come from, who you are, and then figure out where you're going and make it happen again and again and again and again.
Really well said. What excites you about the future?
Just seeing my two youngest pieces of my puzzle grow. Those are my two grands. I want to see them grow, and I want to see them go to school and say, yeah, my grandpa was from the UMCs and he traveled the world. He made money. He put us all through college. He made everything happen. And guess what? I am now able to say that because I'm from royalty and I'm wealthy now because of what Grandpa Pop did.
You know, that's so inspiring. I love that. I love to hear that. And you don't hear everyone talk that way. I mean, I'll be straight up. Not everyone from the area that you grew up is doing great at this stage of life. I mean, it's tough world. I'm glad to see you have this abundant mentality.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what else do you have? You know, until you look in the mirror and realize that you're the creator of all of this yourself. You know what I mean? What you put out is what you get in. You know, you're not going to figure it out. So, you know, for me, this is what it is. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm alive. I'm here. I'm still able to get busy. You know what I'm saying? So I take it like that.
I think that's a fantastic note to end it. You're a hell of an interview, Haas G. Loved having you on the show. Thanks for your time, brother.
Shamet, you know, I already know what time it is. I appreciate you. I thank you. And please keep me posted on how this is going to move, your edits and all of that. You got my phone number. I got yours. And I'm on to the next thing.
All right, man. Peace, brother.
I appreciate you. Peace.
Thanks. Just give me 30 seconds of your time. Firstly, a huge thank you for checking out the show. This started off as an idea in my mind. To see the growth and the support from the beat digging community from around the world has been fantastic. Secondly, if you support what we do here, take a moment and join the 19% of listeners and subscribe on this app. It makes a huge difference. And my promise to you is to grow this show to make it even more of what you love, more guests, more interesting conversation, more beat digging knowledge. We appreciate your support. Peace.